Okay then, so what have we got happening in the workshop at the moment?
Nice hat.
First of all, as usual, back over to the welding bench, and I've got a brake booster for the 51 Chevy truck back there. And this was a bit of a tricky one because we wanted to put power brakes on it. So it's got a disc brake conversion on the front now. And the issue we were having was that we couldn't find a manual pedal setup with a brake booster. If you have an automatic, that was, so easy. So what we ended up doing was bought a automatic brake booster. Then I actually cut off the shaft and took a few chunks out of the bracket there. Same style bracketry as what's on there already, but this shaft here I've machined up to then take both sets of pedals, because the other one was just a standard single pedal with a brass shaft on it, and it just wasn't going to work like that. So we're using the original pedals on it, and that should work perfect. It's all the same geometry, same mounting point. And this will actually bolt, the shaft actually bolts to the chassis rail as well. So that's going to give it a lot more strength as compared to what the aftermarket ones are. If you've ever used those, you'll feel them flex. And having basically two mounting points on that is going to completely transform the feel of it. So that's progress on the Chevy truck. But the main thing happening now is the Cappuccino and the Metropolitan. So the Metrocino.
You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard.
And got that all braced up now, ready to cut the floors out. This was so rotten, you couldn't even, I put the doors on, you couldn't even shut the doors on there. So I've now got that pulled out and braced up, so that's not going to twist anywhere. As you can see, I've actually had to mount it do the bracing quite high up. And that is because on the Cappuccino, the tunnel is so high up in the cabin. You can have a look there. See, that is a massive difference considering how far down the floor is. That's going to be the main issue I'll run into, but that itself actually has a lot of structure, so it's not going to let it flex that much. So we are at the point now I can start chopping it up. Slowly just been de-picking a few of the spot welds along here, and I'm going to be taking the windscreen section out, the outer skin of the seal, and cutting away the rear quarters here. And quite lucky with the double wishbone setup here, it means that the top of the strut isn't going to be taken into consideration too much. I would ideally like to set it up on wheels first to see how it is, but the main priority is to get that body on that chassis, and then we'll see where we get to. But it'll be nice to keep you updated then to basically at the point where the two become one.
When two become one.
And yeah, it's quite a step. So one of the other things about the Cappuccino is this was bought as a project car, and the owner actually collected it for the two cars, but it was basically in the process of being restored. So he basically was happy to see it go to someone else who would carry on the project, and there was a little bit of a lie there to say that it would be going in good hands, because if the guys saw what was happening to it now, you'd probably be crying a little bit.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
But they wrapped all the wiring in yellow tape. I don't know if that was to make it look faster. But yeah, gone through the wiring and pulled that all away, and the idea is to pull all the wiring away from the outside. There's no need to strip it down completely, but pull it all out and just drop it on the inside. And it is basically, when it's chopped up, then it's a straight up mocked up car ready to go. So that basically saves a lot of time doing that, and it's going to be treating it in the way of the front section will be basically just the cab, and that's going to be dropped over what the structure is here, because those Metropolitans are basically, they are monocoque chassis, but they break down into different sections. The Cappuccino is basically structurally spot welded together. Yeah, be interesting to see how it all fits together. It's still a lot of measurements to see what's going to fit where and how. Waiting on the plates for the chassis jig, then I can actually set up everything square on the jig, because at the moment it is just blocked up on some box section, which is doing all right for the moment, but I can't actually cut it apart until I've got the proper plates on there to have a good 0 point. We have also down here, bottom of the workshop, now got the bubble car floor pans back from epoxy primer. The reason they're in epoxy primers, it's just to seal them, really. Whenever it comes to them getting fitted, that paint will have to be taken off. It's just can't find a good enough weld through primer that isn't porous. If anyone's got any recommendations, please let me know. But it's got to the point where these 3 are already sold. They'll be going off, and yeah, that means that's that out of the way then. But then not much happened on the Escort at the moment since the last video. Still got the door skins at a point ready to go on, so still working through those. And then just running through a parts list for the Chevy truck, what to work through there. But currently it is getting a bit tight for space. Obviously got this area here, but that's just about a working area. So once I do get the Metropolitan on the Cappuccino, that's going to be a big step and definitely open up a lot more space, and maybe even get another project in that I've got booked in. There's a few of them, but spaces are filling up quick, and it's going to be interesting to see how these two get along, I think. Not everyone's cup of tea, but nice to be different. But yeah, that's about it. And again, keep updated on the progress. And if you want to see any of the videos, instead of having to search through my Instagram and my Facebook, I actually have a YouTube now. So it'd be nice if any of you hit up that and have a look at the videos on there. But yeah, that's about it. Not a huge amount of progress, but hopefully we're making some big steps soon. So keep updated, keep looking out for what's happening, and yeah, see you then.